Happy New Year, y'all. I'm so glad to be back and I hope your year has started off such an like on a high note. I know the world's crazy right now, but I hope that it kicked off on a high note at least. So happy Thursday. In case you haven't met me yet, I am your host, Shameika Rhymes, and this is Soulibration. So welcome. Let me know where you are watching from and how you're doing this evening. Drop that in the chat. Remember to share this with your network. And if you have any questions at all during tonight's show, again, drop it in the chat and we'll get to them as we go along. So, with the new year, that means you're probably trying to figure out, how do I start 2025 out with purpose and clarity? I know I've been struggling to come up with some goals for this year, but we're going to talk about it tonight. So, we're going to take a look at how to set those meaningful goals and not just those resolutions that we are all going to ignore by the middle or the end of the month. We're going to talk about actually setting goals and then creating vision boards that truly work. Do y'all know what vision boards are? Let me know if y'all have a vision board or have created one in the past. So, we're going to talk about practical strategies for turning your dreams into actionable plans and discover how to stay motivated throughout the entire year, not just this month. And so, whether you're focused on career, relationships, or personal growth, this conversation is going to equip you with the tools to make your 2025 your most successful year yet, hopefully. So, if you want to, I'm gonna give you a second to run and go grab some pen and paper so you can take notes. Or if you got your vision board stuff ready to go, slide it in front of you because we're about to kick this off. Let me introduce you to tonight's guest. I'm super excited. She's actually my former coworker and she's my sorority sister as well. Erica Coach Nikki Shorty is a dynamic life coach, career coach, entrepreneur, and visionary who is passionate about helping individuals design the life they desire. She's the founder and CEO of Her Life Coaching LLC. So let's bring Erica on.
Hey.
Hi, Erica.
Hi. I'm so excited. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you.
Good to be seen, right? It's good to be seen.
Yeah, yeah. I see Charlotte checking in the chat. Y'all make sure you drop those questions in. And I do see that someone, Lynette McCallum, who's also a soror, she said that she's created a vision board in the past, but she's looking for tips tonight. So she's in the building. And I am so hype about this. So for those that don't know, Erica, what is a vision board? Because I know that was a question that I got when they saw the flyer. Like, what is a vision board?
Oh, I'm gonna get everybody hip. A vision board is exactly what it is. It is a board that exemplifies your vision for the present, the future, and every iteration in between. And so that vision board can be digital, that vision board can be a book, that vision board can be an actual poster board. My family and I have been working on vision boards now for a little over a decade, and it has been a life changer. A vision board is intention to be something to tether you, to inspire you to achieve all of your goals and aspirations. And it doesn't have to look like the next person's vision because it's yours, it's about
Mhm.
you. I've had clients that have just put words that inspire them. I've had clients that put scriptures. I've had clients that put pictures, actual photos that they've taken or gotten from Google Images because they have very specific goals for the year. Um, what you need to understand about a vision board, it is 1000% all about you and 1000% about your vision. So whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you, maybe it's something you want to attain, a trip you want to go on, an experience, that is what you put on your vision, and it is meant to keep you motivated and inspired throughout the years.
I love it. I love that when you brought up scripture because I literally on New Year's Eve, I was sitting here. I had my prayer board and then my
Yes.
vision board. Neither one of them have not a one thing on them right now, but I
It's
was like,
okay.
which the thought was there. but
We
but
listen and we don't judge.
exactly. So I guess let's start with the because the issue for me, and I mentioned this in my intro, was getting clear on those goals. So can you kind of share your philosophy on setting goals and why it's important to kind of have that clear? I mean, maybe you don't have to have that clear vision
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
especially for the new year, because of course you're coming off a busy holiday season. And
Yeah.
then you're like, oh gosh, now, which was my problem. Oh gosh, now I got to sit here and think about what I'm going to do for a whole year.
Yeah, yeah. I think with a vision board, you don't overcomplicate it. We are humans. And
Hmm.
so naturally, we overcomplicate things and we don't have to. You just keep it simple. And I also think that there's like the world will try to haste you into things. Don't let the world punk you around into something. You know, the world will have you thinking, especially social media, that you have to be a homeowner, that you got
Hmm.
to be married, that you got to forget all that. Hone in on what exactly it is that you want. And if you don't know what you want, start with what you don't want and reverse it. Do the opposite.
Ooh.
If you know that you don't want to be financially strained, so then okay, that's a goal. You want
Mhm.
financial freedom. So let's put that on the board. If you know that you don't want whatever relationship that you in, well, it looks like you got some tasks to do. You got to do some breaking up or something, right? So you got to do the opposite.
Yeah.
So I always tell people to, focus on what you don't want, but don't stay there.
Hmm.
If you know what you don't want, let's reverse it. And so you look at those things and you say, okay, I think I have a clear vision or at least some steps on what I do want or what I could want for myself. Once you figure out those things, it doesn't have to be an exact number. It doesn't have to be a long list of things. I saw a clip that was really dope, that Steve Harvey was talking about, and it was like 300 things. Maybe there's people out here struggling for three things, let alone
Right.
300, right? So just keep it simple. Think about what it is that you do want. Visualization is a big thing. Closing your eyes for a little bit, spending some time with yourself in quiet. Maybe you have, some jazz music, some spa music, what have you, and just start thinking about the type of life that you would like to live and start from there. I will say this. I think what a lot of people get hung up on sometimes is that they have this vision board
Mhm.
that they created in yesteryear and they think that they're supposed to replicate that vision. But the honest truth about that is we are meant to evolve as people. We Evolution is inevitable, right?
Right.
And so if we evolve as people, as we evolve as men and women and
Mhm.
everything in between, right? We're not going to want the same things because we're not the same person. And so
Right.
you're out here trying to attach yourself to something and you're not even that person anymore. And so you
Mm.
have to be able to grieve the loss of I'm not that person, but you also have to step into this realm of it's okay. It's okay. And so
Yeah.
the things that you thought that you wanted in 2012 may not be the things that you want in 2025. That's okay. It's time for you to evolve and explore who you are, who you want to become, and what those goals and visions should be.
Well, that might explain why. So I created a vision board in yesteryear, a
Okay.
couple of
Okay.
yesteryears ago. And even when I sat down and just wrote out on New Year's Eve, what I wanted, I'm like, well, that for me, my, I guess, vision, I'm thinking, okay, well, because I didn't get this in 2020 or 2015, whatever, that I'm still attached to, okay, we going into 2025. I still ain't got this. Let me slap this
Right.
on the list.
Right. Right.
When you get to that point and you still want those things,
Yes.
how do you like maybe change the lens on it so that you can maybe still, because you're not the same person. I'm definitely not the same person I was 10 years ago, even though I'm
Right.
still like, yes, I want this actor from General Hospital. He don't know me, but you know what I mean? But I want to put him on the vision board.
Now, baby, now wait a minute. We're gonna go back to that another time. We're gonna have to do another show on that another time. Here's what I will say. You have to ask yourself the baseline question. And the baseline question is, what does it look like?
Mm,
You may have put successful on yesteryear's vision board, but success looked
right.
different to you. It could have had a number attached to it, it could have had experiences attached to it, whatever that looks like. You have to continue to ask yourself the question, okay, so what does that look like? What does love look like? The type of man that you dreamed up on General Hospital may not be the type of man that you need.
Yes, he
Okay.
is, Erica. Yes, he is.
Okay, and that's between you and God. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because only you know that. You know what? You're right. You're right. But I want people to really get clear on what does it look like. And
Okay.
so, number one, again, taking other people out of it, because I think uh, setting goals
Hmm.
and how the world views goal setting and resolutions and everything gets kind of watered down after
Yeah.
a while because it becomes commercialized. Everybody's like, all right, y'all, clean up, get your goals together, take your stuff to Goodwill. Like it's like a whole thing when you're just
Yeah.
like, well, I need to sit down for a second and
Hmm.
reflect on what does it look like? What do I want it to look like for
Hmm.
me? And so when you get clear on that, because a lot of times we're getting clear and we're creating visions that aren't even ours. They're your mama's, they're
Yeah.
your grandparents, your
Hmm.
cousins and your siblings think that you should be a doctor, but that ain't what you want to do. So
Right.
you have to say, what does it look like for me? And write it down. Take it down to the basics. Just write down, okay, success looks like making X amount of dollars a year, X amount of clients this year. Love looks like this type of person. Love
Hmm.
looks like these types of qualities. Love for myself looks like, just stick to the basics. And so once you get that baseline of what does it look like, now we're starting to create the actual vision, because the baseline question is, what does it look like for me? Now, where it gets a little murky is to see social media.
Yes. Hmm.
Now, hey, I'm a millennial. I love social media just like the rest of us. But social media will rush us. And if
Yeah.
you rush it, you'll ruin it.
Hmm.
Sometimes you put in things on that vision board, you're not even the woman that you need to be before you start to live in some of these visions. You have to grow into a lot of these things.
Yeah.
And so
Hmm.
then you have to ask yourself, not only what does it look like, but who do I need to be to sustain this vision? That's a question that a lot of people don't ask themselves, but only you know. Are you ready for that husband? Are you ready for that new career? Are you ready to be a full time entrepreneur? Are you ready to be a homeowner? Don't let social media punk you into thinking that you have to have these things and you're not even that person yet. Let's focus on the habits of what it's going to take to make that goal sustainable. Let's talk
Hmm.
about the everyday time management. That's a whole nother thing. We'll get into that a little bit
Yeah.
later on what that'll look like. My mentor always told me, count the cost. And it's not just about money, it's about time. You want to go to grad school, do you have time? Do you want your PhD? Do you have time to study?
Hmm. Erica,
Count the
you've been in my
cost.
house because I said I'm going to law. I want to be a lawyer. I don't
I
have
I
nobody's
believe
time
in you
nor
too.
money.
She said, "Have you been in my house?" I might have been. I might have been. That might have been imparted in me for you, but count the cost. That's
Hmm.
the biggest thing. You have to count the cost and really flesh out what it looks like.
That is such a good point. I never thought about it that way. Because this year, actually, when I did cut out stuff out of magazines, and this time I wasn't looking for pictures. I was looking for words of who I wanted to be and who I needed to
Mm,
step into because I thought, yeah, I want all this stuff,
yes.
but I'm still like not there, maybe mentally, emotionally. I still need to
Mm,
grow in certain areas, heal certain things. So
yes.
I was like, I just have a pile of words
And
right
that's
now.
okay. Lean on those. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I love that. When even with you cutting out words and placing them on your vision board, I think a lot of people don't place a lot of weight on the power of words.
Hmm.
And it's one thing to see it, but then also to read it and let that resonate with you and
Yeah.
tether yourself to those words every day.
Hmm.
So being disciplined, being persistent, being
Hmm.
consistent, like these words may look just like words on a vision board, but when you tether yourself to these words, when you release to these words and allow those things to be a part of your character, it
Yeah.
really changes the way you go through life, not just 2025,
Hmm.
but through life. So, yeah, if you're drawn to words and they speak to you and they mean
Hmm.
something and they move you, it's important to put those types of things on your vision board because that's the purpose. It's supposed to move you, it's
Hmm.
supposed to inspire you to do great things and to be the best part and the best version of yourself. So, girl, cut them words out, honey. Call yourself Webster. Get them all
Ah,
out there.
I love it. I love it. Y'all make sure you drop any questions in the comments. I see we've got some more people joining us. I want to shout out. We got New Jersey in the house, Gastonia, South Carolina, ATL. Hey, y'all. Hey. Make sure you drop those questions in the chat. So, what are some common mistakes people make when they're saying, which we kind of talked about briefly, but when they're saying, okay, I'm going to set New Year's resolutions, and how can they avoid these mistakes? Because I know there are plenty of people, and I see it online all the time. I'm going to the gym starting January 1. And then by the end of the month, you like, how's the gym going? And it's like,
Girl, I guess it's going.
right? I guess the building's still there.
I think the difference between a resolution and a goal, when I hear resolution, I'm thinking resolve, meaning there's a problem. What do I want to resolve? What do I want to resolute? You got to, sometimes you just have to take that out, because I don't set resolutions, I set intentions. If I intend on doing something, and if it, again, the power of your words, what kind of words are you setting yourself up for when you're talking about who you are and what you want to become and what it is that you want to do? I'm going to talk about the spiritual lens of talking about your resolutions in a minute. But on the flip side of that, when you think about goals and intentions, with that also comes habits and time management. And so if I have any of my clients, past, present, or future, on here, they will know, and they have known, that success is found in your routine. And so when you meet with me, I ask you first, what does your schedule look like? What does your self-care look like? What does time management look like for you? And to most people, they're like, girl, I'm sitting here telling you about me trying to reach a goal. But that's important context. If you don't have a schedule, how do you plan to create lasting habits to get you to that goal? You haven't put one time slot next to going to the gym, meal prepping, getting adequate rest, doing all of these things, but yet you're going to be in the gym on January 1st. So I always ask people, what time you going? What day you going? What days of the week in your schedule do you plan on going? Great. What does your schedule look like next month? And if you tell me you don't know, you're not ready to handle that. That's not a goal of yours. You think it should be a goal, but you're not ready to get there. And so when we think about setting ourselves up for success, you want to say, look, my schedule needs to look like the type of person that I'm trying to become. You want to be fit? Let me see how fit your schedule is. You want to be financially stable? Where are you spending most of your time at? You in the stores? You at the mall? Let me see your browser. You online? That's where you spending most of your time? So you have to think about, and look, I might be cussing somebody out right now, but when you think about your goals, it is imperative that your schedule looks like where you trying to be. You talking about going to grad school? Have you already laid out your study schedule? Where are you studying at? What day you going? These are questions that you have to ask yourself. And if you're not ready to build your schedule, you are not ready for that goal, and that goal is not ready for you. And that's not to be mean. That's to be real, and that's to be able to get you to understand that if I truly want this, I'm going to make time. If not, I'm going to make an excuse. So your schedule got to align with the goal. So while we creating a vision board, that's step one. Step two is to make sure that your schedule looks like where you're headed this year. Are you building in time, realistic time? Because some people are like, I'm working out every day till December 31st. Rest is also a part of the process. When are you resting? Where's your recovery? When are you going to give your muscles a chance to do what it needs to do so that it can build up into the person that you want to see happen? So while you build that vision board, that's great, but also build that schedule alongside of it. And it doesn't have to be lofty, but it does have to be real. And when you do that, you just build on it every day. Every day you do better than your yesterday self or your last week self or your last month self. You say, hey, July or January, I worked out 3 days out of a week. February, I'm doing 4. and just build on that.
Okay.
Then we're going to talk about the spiritual alignment, but we'll get there. We'll
Yeah. Oh,
get there in a
I
second.
was gonna ask about that part. But I do have there is a question in the comments, so we'll come
Yes.
right back to that. But so Lynette McCallum wants to know what are some tips for setting time frames for your goals so that you don't set yourself up for failure.
I love that. So first thing, you have to think about where your time is currently going and what are you willing to give up. There has to be some give and take somewhere. So if you write down your current schedule and you're like, okay, I get up at this time and I go to bed at this time, I don't really have anything in between. Well, now you have to build it. If you work your 9 to 5, obviously that time is taken up. If you can sacrifice 30 minutes of your lunch break, great. If you can sacrifice, if some days are lighter than others, that might be the day to like really sacrifice and put those goals in there. But you want to look at your current schedule to see like where can I have some wiggle room and what can I do to like balance my time versus the time that I need for my goals. Everybody is different. I've had clients who love the mornings and they're like, listen, between 5 a.m. and 6:30 a.m., that's my time for me to just gather myself, work out, set my intentions for the day, do my self-care, that kind of thing. Then I have clients that are like, I love the midday. I love my lunch break. I love
Mhm.
doing what I need to do. So to answer your question, write out your current schedule and then be able to tweak where necessary. It's going to be some give and take. You're going to have to give up something. If you're like, oh man, that's the time my show come on. Well, baby, which one do you want? Do you want to look at it live or can you catch it on a replay so that you can do some other stuff? So count the cost. For you, the cost would be your time. So you want to count the cost with what you are currently doing and then how you can give up things to balance out your schedule.
That's great advice. Okay, so going back to the spiritual alignment part of
Mm-hmm.
creating those goals and the vision board, let's talk about that. What's that look like?
I had a very, very good girlfriend who reminded me of this, and this isn't something that I've heard just once in my life. You know, I come from Virginia. I'm in the South. My mom and my grandmother, they used to say, "Don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing." My
Mhm.
grandma used to say, and that's why I don't clap like this. I clap like this. She old school country, right? So for me, I never really understood that growing up. But a lot of times, spiritually, and this, I don't care who you pray to, whether it's God, Allah, whatever. When you're in spiritual alignment and you're tethering yourself to a higher power, everybody don't need to know about it. Shut up. Just shut
Mhm.
up. You
Mhm.
go on social media and you go on your story and you're telling everybody in the world what it is that you intend on doing spiritually, monitoring spirits, however you look
Yeah.
at it. Not everybody wants to see you succeed, and so when thieves come to kill, steal, and destroy, what you think they want to do to your plan? They don't know your plan if you don't tell them.
Right.
So
Mhm.
sometimes you just have to hold on to that and show the world when it's done. Let people know, hey, look at what I've accomplished. If you choose to, you may not want to, but learn to be able to be in spiritual alignment with you, your higher power, keeping things to yourself. It's just kind of like when moms are with child, you don't
Mhm.
let everybody go on and rubbing your stomach. That's your personal space, and your goals should be just like that. Your goals are your baby. Your goal is spiritual alignment. Your goal is given to you from higher power. So sometimes you have to be able to just sit with the things that you intend to do and work on that with you and yourself. Now, that's not to say that you can't talk to people like accountability partners.
Mhm.
That's great because I truly believe that we don't get anywhere by ourselves. That's why people hire me as a coach.
Mhm.
That's why
Mhm.
people have walking groups and they have a workout group and accountability partners. People underestimate accountability partners because these are people that are going to speak life into you. These are people that are going to remind you, Shameika, you said you
Mhm.
wanted to do this year, and I believe in you. Don't stop.
Mhm.
That's that part you can't put a price on that. That's priceless. So being able to curate a safe space where you can fail, where you can be vulnerable, where you can say this is hard and I don't know if I can do it. For people to be curated around you to say no, 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 no. I understand this is difficult and you may not have done it before, but I believe in the person you are now and I believe in the woman that you're becoming. That's impactful. So it's a difference between telling everybody your resolution,
Yeah.
but then curating safe spaces for you to heal, for you to grow, for you to develop, and to be able to be held accountable. That is a gift. And so
Hmm.
there's a true difference between that. So yes, spiritual alignment is also a thing, but make sure that you're in alignment and saying it to the right people and not just throwing it out there to the masses. That could be a whole
Amen.
nother
Yes.
topic.
Yes, yes, yes. I see some preaching. A lot of people saying preach in the comments because, yeah, I was like, yeah. So clap, clap, clap.
Come on now, come on now.
So I had asked you to pull out a vision board to show us what one looks like because visually, like you said, it could look however anybody wants to, but can you just show us an example of what one looks like? And then, well, let me just not double up all the questions on you. Can you show us what it looks like first?
Yes. So I do have an example. This is a older family vision board that we created a while ago. And I see this is super big.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
this is super big, trifold and all of that. So this is an example of one. And again, this could be Google images. This could be um, maybe you have like some certain things that you want to put on here from any source, but the goal is for it to amplify your inspiration and your motivation. You can do this collage like. I've had clients that have done a vision book. Shout out to my clients. They got together, they did this vision book, and I thought it was the most amazing thing since sliced bread. Also, for those that are like, what if I want to take my vision on the go, baby? Canva works wonders. I actually just did my first digital vision board and it was so dope. It was so impactful. It was a little weird at first because
Yeah.
I'm usually like cutting things out, gluing things, that type of thing. But this is something that my family enjoys. Every year we get together. Some days it's New Year's Eve, some days it's like a week or two after the new year. But like really reflecting and giving thought to what it is that we want, not just in the upcoming year, but just out of life period. And we edit it periodically. So a lot of times people will make this and they're like, all right, I made my vision board, I'm all done. But you're supposed to be reviewing your vision board throughout the year, guys. However, you see fit. It could be, hey, I'm going to review it monthly. I'm going to review it quarterly. I'm
Mhm.
going to review it, every 6 months, whatever that looks like. You want to review it because, as we talked about, when you create it, you're not the same person once you've achieved it.
Right.
You're going to want new things, you're going to have new ideas, and you want to leave room for that. And so when you create these vision boards, y'all, don't stick these in your closet, because where you think your vision going to be, it's going to be locked up somewhere. You
Now
need to put this thing.
wait a minute.
You heard what I said. You look, put that thing out. When you asked me about my vision board, mine was out in this living room where I could
Yeah.
see it. I walk past it every day, all of that, because you need a reminder. If you have fitness on there, put that thing in the kitchen. What are you doing? What are you reaching for? Is that a
Hmm.
cookie? Is it gluten free? Is it vegan? Sit it down.
Get out of my kitchen, Erica.
Girl, what are you doing? If hey, you got financial goals, by your wallet, put it by your purse. What are you doing?
So
Tapping
with
this
with
credit
that
card.
being said, should you create mini boards for each, like you said, like put one in the kitchen if those are your goals for that, put one by your wallet, put one and wherever. So why I was kind of like, what's wrong with the closet is because I tend to think, you got people coming to visit, coming to your house. You don't want people seeing all your business, what you put on your vision board. So the question at that point is, well, where do you just leave it out in the open, or do you kind of put it to the side till they leave?
So look, I'm gonna go back to something just for you, real quick.
Okay.
Because if you in my house and I can't share my vision with you, why are you in there? Get out of there. Get it.
Okay.
Why are we in there? But this is up to preference. You could have a roommate. You could have, there's so many different ways. And to answer your question, You have to do what works best for you.
Okay.
Doing a vision book, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to do many visions for and segment it out, totally fine. This is about how you are best going to keep your goals in action to keep you motivated and inspired. And I actually love the thought of having like miniature vision boards or segmented vision boards in different areas. But for
Mhm.
somebody, they're like, nope, I need everything on one board in one place. But I want to touch on this because, you know, I want to make sure that everybody is in alignment with understanding the power of people and
Mhm.
energy and all of that, right? And I know I stated just now, we were talking about like who's coming into your spaces to see your
Mhm.
visions or who are you sharing your visions with. I think that a lot of times we don't achieve the goals that we need to because we haven't changed the circle that we're in, or the circle
Mhm.
is not pouring into you in the way that you need to in order for you to carry out the visions that you're creating for yourself. And that's not to say that, I know Drake had his song "No New Friends," and
Mhm.
that's one thing. But then it also speaks volumes if you can't share your vision with certain people,
Yeah.
or you can't be your authentic self in these spaces. Because I'm going to be very clear, these visions are not easy. You put them on this board, it's not voila magic. It's work. It's alignment. It's prayers. It's work.
Mhm.
They say faith without works is dead. Now you gotta put in some work here. And so when you think about becoming something that you've never been before, that's gonna come with some tears. That's gonna come with some imposter syndrome. That's gonna come with so many things that you're not ready for. And you need to be able to have people like we talked about to keep you lifted, to
Yeah.
pour into you. And so to some people it's just a vision board, and you and I have had countless conversations over the years. We've seen each other accomplish some of the great things, and then there were things that we struggled, where we
Yeah.
were just like, why can't I get over this one hurdle? And so when you think about that, if we're not in alignment and we have people that are going to love us through these things, you got to
Mhm.
start thinking twice about the people that you have in your circle. Because the people that are in mine are top tier. Okay, they've seen me at my best, they've seen me at my worst. They've asked
Mhm.
me, hey girl, what happened with that? It's not because they're asking me because they're like, oh look, she didn't do what she said she was going to do. You need
Right.
reminders, because sometimes we get too comfortable.
Mhm.
Sometimes we get too comfortable. So
Yeah.
I really wanted to drive that home, where if you have your vision board and you got people in your house, or people that come to your house or frequent your home, and you don't want them to see that board, it's not the board that needs to be put up, it's them people. And
Ooh.
we're gonna stop right there, because that's a
That's
that's a that's a
yeah.
totally different topic.
Understood. So and you
I
guys,
understand
we
too.
got a few more minutes. If you have questions, drop that in the chat. So how do you suggest maintaining that focus and momentum on the vision board or your goals throughout the year? I love what you said about editing it throughout the year. I know there for me, I would do like this, you know, do it at the beginning of the year and then maybe June revisit it and say, okay,
Yeah.
well, these goals I achieved, now I have some additional goals, let me stick this up here.
Mm-hmm.
um how do you maintain, just like, okay, I still haven't hit this goal yet, it's June and I'm still like,
Mm-hmm.
now what else, like what else can I do to get, like you said, over this hump to get to the finish line? Or with some of these vision boards or the goals that you put on your vision board,
Yeah.
well, I guess it is possible because I've done a lot of vision boards that those goals didn't happen in that
Yeah.
specific year. It may have happened 2 3 years later.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the question: how do you stay motivated? Like, because some people may get discouraged, I know I do, and like you said, there's
Yeah.
a lot of tears, a lot of
No.
tears.
uh, Baby, a lot of tears. It's a lot of tear marks on these vision boards that we've created throughout the years. But we talked about counting the cost, and a lot of things. When we talk about editing and reviewing vision boards, when you count the cost of something, time is a big part of that. And
Yeah.
so when you're looking at your vision board, segmenting out what can be done quarterly, looking at your vision board and saying, hey, this is a pretty lofty goal. This is something that I may be able to work on in 24 months. This might be something that is part of my 5-year plan. When you create the vision board, it's important to review this to see what can I do this year and what's a stretch for me, right?
Mhm.
And so when you're looking at your vision board, it's important that you're making some type of plans, you're strategizing, you're doing your very own strategic plan. One thing that we did last year in working in nonprofit and working in workforce development, one of the things that we talked about as a family was a SWOT analysis. So last year we actually did a strategic planning session that we did. We got a template off Canva. We put our family goals, but then we also wanted to give space for like our kids, myself, my husband, to talk about like what their personal goals are, right? And so when we did our very own strategic plan, we looked at what we could accomplish in 24, what we could push off maybe for 25, and then maybe what does 2024 to 2030 look like for us. And a lot of people, that sounds daunting, right? But then
Yeah.
when you think about what you accomplished in just 5 years, so you think about 2020. I know we was
Mhm.
locked up, wearing masks, taking COVID tests. It was a lot. But when I think about all that I've accomplished
Mhm.
since 2020, and here we are sitting in the midst of 2025, there's a lot of things that I accomplished in 5 years. And so
Mhm.
now you have to start thinking, are these short term goals? Are these long term goals? Do I align with this goal right now? Am I the person that can keep this goal going? Do I need certain attributes of myself to grow in order to sustain this vision? Like, this is all things that need to go in your very own strategic plan. And so when you're creating your strategic plan, you're going to have to look at the vision board and segment it out. If you want to do 3 months, if you want to do 6, if you want to do what can I accomplish in 9 to 12 months, segment it out and start
Mhm.
categorizing your vision board. Start taking the things on the board, putting it on a strategic plan, whether it's a piece of notebook paper or whether you want to just grab notes in like your iPad or what have you, and segment it out. That's how you keep it going. And be honest with yourself. If
Mhm.
you know you can't become the first Black president this year or in 4 years, well, baby, you know you got some work to do. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you have to be realistic, but then you also have to strategize. You don't
Mhm.
have a plan, it ain't gonna happen. So
Okay.
yeah, we start with
Okay.
that.
So, which brings me up to something that I heard, I think it was last year or the year before. I've done so many interviews, it all blends, like you said. But I believe it was she was actually a grief coach or something, but she was saying that sometimes we can get overwhelmed with trying to plan out future because as we get older, you experience all kinds of, where there's trauma from losses, trauma from
Yeah,
jobs, all the things. And then you can get discouraged creating those goals. But her
yeah.
suggestion was create a gratitude board. So have you ever done that? And she's like, that way you focus on the good things that you have done. Like I just thought of that when you were saying, look at
Hmm.
2020 to now and the things that you have accomplished. And
Yeah.
have you ever done that? And how could someone use something like that to help them create new goals?
I have not created a gratitude board, but I
Okay.
do have a gratitude list. And
Okay.
so, good girlfriend of mine, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, she has a gratitude jar. And
Mhm.
so, at the end of the year, she looks at all the things that
Yep.
she was grateful for the
Mhm.
year. And so, gratitude is actually a superpower. It's scientifically proven that when you create a list of things to be grateful for, more things that you can be grateful for, they multiply. And so while I haven't created the board, gratitude is a big part of the process because a lot
Mhm.
of times you have to look at what's been done in order to see what you can do. And so if you're keeping a tally, if you're keeping a list, and it doesn't have to be extravagant, maybe you have a certain notebook that you go to just to keep everything in. Maybe you have a gratitude jar, a
Mhm.
gratitude bowl, or things like that. Gratitude is your superpower to get you where you need to be because it creates more space for things for you to be thankful for as you go through the year. And so, haven't done that board, but maybe I should give you some homework, Shameika.
No, you shouldn't.
Maybe,
I don't have the
maybe,
time.
maybe we should put it in the chat. Should we give Shameika homework? Put it in the chat.
Ignore her,
No, but
y'all. No,
I
I'm just kidding.
but I love that though. No, a gratitude board is actually really, really awesome to just think about. Wow, I'm really grateful for this. And for individuals that are struggling with, I don't know what to ask for, or I don't
Yeah.
know what my vision is. If you are grateful for something and you're like, man, that was such an amazing experience, you have to think of life kind of like online shopping. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, you like that. So would you like to do something like this? Like you have to think about like life as a catalog where you can produce and curate experiences for yourself. So if I think the gratitude portion is an amazing idea.
These dirty
I
dogs in
love
the
it.
chat have said
I
yes to give me
know.
homework.
See, this is my tribe in the chat right here. This is my tribe.
I think these are
This
all
is
your
my
friends.
I, we giving Shameika homework. Shameika, you got to do. Well, let me ask this: did you do a gratitude list last year?
So I did a gratitude jar, and actually on New Year's Eve I went through that jar. But I also did a prayer board last year, so I went through my answered prayers, which is in a separate envelope. And
I
so I went
love
through
that.
all of that. And and I also some days I do just decide, you know what, I'm too lazy to walk to the other side of the room to put something in the jar, so I will just write it in a notebook.
Okay.
And actually, gosh, I still have the notebook. I think when I started, when I got out of TV news, someone told me about keeping a gratitude list. So every morning, even before going to my job where we worked together, I would write 3 to 5 things of what I'm grateful for. Now, granted,
I
over
love
time, as I've gotten busier, it might be one thing, but it's
that
better than
one
nothing.
thing. That
Yeah.
one thing is probably the most empowering and impactful thing. And then, two, I think you and I talked about this as well. Not even just creating a list of things that you're grateful for, but my personal favorite is a pray rain journal. A pray rain journal is where
Oh
you
yes,
write as
I
if
remember
you're
that.
journaling. Like if you have a journal, like Dear Diary, today I fill in the blank. But instead of writing something that you did, you're writing something that hasn't happened in the present tense. So, for an example, you might say, uh, Dear Journal, thank you so much for my new show on BET. Write that down, and the universe or this life or whatever you want to call it, the
Yeah.
world, God, when you're writing these things down, they amplify off the paper. So when
Mhm.
you're writing it down, it's like, oh, okay, so these are the types of experiences that you would like to have. Great. And keep writing them. At first, it's gonna feel weird that you're writing things in the past tense that has
Mhm.
never happened. You'll be like, oh wow, so I'm just lying all year. No, you are creating a vision for yourself,
Mhm.
and it's very powerful when you achieve those things and you go back and read your pray rain journal and you like, wait a minute, this happened to me 2 weeks ago. That's because
Wow.
you are the author of your life. You're creating the life that you would like. And so, pray rain journaling, there's all types of things on the internet about it. That is my personal favorite. And if you've ever been coached by me, that's been a homework assignment for all of my clients. So,
Is that my homework? Because I remember you mentioning this to me years ago. I might have written like 1 or 2 things, and I don't know where it's at now. But
I think that just might be your homework assignment. Getting
okay.
getting you a nice, I love Tarjay. Getting you a nice journal where you can just start writing your goals and intentions in the present tense as if
Mhm.
they already happened, and then looking back at that December 31st. I reposted on Instagram where this girl, and it reminds me, I'm going to record that after I get off with you all today. She recorded a video to her future self. So she's going to go back. She went back. She did it last year. She answered herself. And so she stitched the video together,
Oh
and
wow.
it's her 2024 self or 2023 self talking to her 2024 self. I watched that video like 9 times, crying for strangers.
Oh,
It was the most impactful thing. So I'm gonna record my video today, and then I'm gonna answer the video on December 31st, and just kind of have a conversation with my future self.
I
That's
love that.
another hack.
Yeah. There is a website. I found it. I don't know how I found it. Stumbled upon it last year. Um, maybe in 2023 actually, and you write a letter to yourself. I think it's like dear future self, and
Yes,
'cause it'll throw me all off. I'll get an email and I'm like, wait, because you schedule when you want it to come to you. So
yes,
that's another way that you can do that. It's maybe not exactly like the pray rain journal,
yeah.
but sorta, but it's
It's in the
digital.
same family. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're cousins. They're cousins. Or
they're
you can
cousins.
write a letter, seal it up with an envelope, and just say open on December 31st, 2025.
Mhm.
Writing a letter to your future self is also a practice that I've done. I've done that at several workshops, vision board workshops. I love it. It's like, oh my God, I didn't even remember that I wrote this down.
Yeah.
And then here you are, just living life, accomplishing stuff that you wrote a year ago and don't even remember it. So,
Yeah, the power of the written word as well, because I go on my decluttering uh, things sometimes, and I came across, this was actually early last year, I think, a letter that I had written to God, and I this was from 2013. I didn't even remember writing this, and I was like, I just want my own entertainment show,
wow.
all these things. I want this. I want to write for this and this and this, and every last thing in that thing came true, except the husband came true. But I didn't even like remember writing it because I'm looking
God
at
is
this
working
like,
on that too. He working on that
right,
too.
right,
Good things
right,
take time.
right. Which actually, before, because I know we're running out of time, but I did have one question about when you are, say, you are wanting to manifest love, marriage, relationship, better relationship, whatever. How
Hmm.
specific should you be? Because I've seen some people say, maybe you shouldn't pick out this couple, that celebrity couple, and slap it, say, and on your thing and say
Hmm.
relationship goals, because we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Or
That
should
part.
you, you have a crush, a celebrity crush, and you're like, that's gonna be my man, and y'all don't say nothing about my General Hospital boo, pretend you didn't even hear it. But 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 putting like a specific person's picture on that vision board, should you be doing stuff like that, or should you leave it open for however it unfolds?
I think it's best to leave it open but be specific. I prayed for my husband for years.
Hmm.
I've had people who have wrote down letters to their husband and they gift that journal to them on their wedding day. Just saying, hey, I don't know where you are in the world. I'm praying for you. I'm loving for you. I prayed for my husband. And we
Hmm.
were best friends before we became husband and wife. And
Yeah.
so you want to be specific. What kind of characteristics? Because here's the thing, nobody wants a manufactured love. You don't
True.
want something that's copy and pasted. You want a love that's true to you, that
Hmm.
looks like you. I think what my husband and I, our superpower, and it'll be, I cannot believe I'm officially saying this, it will be 10 years of marriage this year, a whole decade. And what I loved was that when we had our wedding, we were adamant about not doing things like everybody else. We wanted our wedding to be unique to us. We wanted everything to be unique to us. And that's kind of his affirmation. He's like, we don't do what everybody else do. We do what the shorties do. And
Hmm.
so when you think about that, that's a love that can't be replicated. You can't go out here and be like, you know what? We're gonna do it like this. No,
Yeah.
do you be specific on the type of characteristics, the type of um experiences you want to have with your husband or wife, the type of experiences that you want to have in life with this person, because it's two people becoming one.
Yeah.
And if that person ain't right for you, it's gonna be real hard to try to walk in life as one. And
Amen.
so you want to do it so that it feels like you, so that when you say, I've met my forever, you can say, this is exactly what I wanted. This is what I've always wanted. You
Hmm.
don't want to, oh, it'll do type of love. because they're
Mm-mm.
out there.
I'm tired of those.
This will do. I mean, this is an exact, but I mean, it's, it'll do. No, when it's for you and it's right, baby, there's no feeling like that. I'm grateful every day. Now we work each other's nerves. That's part of the process. But I'm grateful every day for my husband, and I can truly say that he's for me. So
Hmm.
when you're creating your vision for the type of love that you want, focus on the life, focus on how you want to be loved. It's kind of like plants. Not all plants like a lot of sun, just like
Right.
not all plants like a lot of water.
Hmm.
You want something that's going to give you what you need, and that's what you have to strive for. So maybe not put General Hospital Bay on there. Just saying. Um, Maybe don't put Michael B. Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Maybe focus on the characteristics.
Amen. 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 This has been so fun. So, my last
Yes.
question:
Yes.
what feeds your soul?
Ooh, what feeds my soul? I got to put my hand on my heart when I say it. What feeds my soul is love,
Mhm.
family, friends, my love for self, because I love me. I love me. But love feeds my soul.
Mhm.
It feeds my soul. And if I can't love it, I ain't going to do it. If I can't
Ooh,
love it and it can't love me back, I don't want it. I don't want it. So love feeds my soul.
ooh, you have fed my soul tonight, and I know you have fed a lot of people in the chat. They, I think you've got some client testimonials in this chat too. I see one said 1 year at Erica's Vision Board brunch, we that they did the letters, and you mailed the letters to them the next year, and it was mind blowing to see a letter. That is so sweet. Like, so let everybody know where they can find you if they want to, work with you to help create that vision. Because I know I'm gonna
Absolutely.
be bothering you like help. I'm gonna do the homework though.
Come,
I'm gonna do the
yes, you
homework.
are, because I'm gonna hold you accountable.
Yes, you
Uh,
are.
you can find me on Instagram. I am her life coach. You can find me on www.herlifecoaching.com. You can send me an email. You can send me a singing telegram, a video, whatever you would like. But no, you can find me at Instagram at I am her life coach. Um, Book a consultation with me. We'll talk for 30 minutes, talk about your needs, and just have a heart to heart conversation about what it is that you need and where you'd like to go. I'd love to hear from you. My 2025 books are officially open. So book time with me, and I cannot wait to meet you all, see you all, talk to you all in 2025 and help you reach your goals and bring your vision boards to life, y'all.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing strategies and tips and
Thank you.
gathering us and me and and my co-host. Thank you as always for the wonderful questions and comments.
Thank you.
You have to come back. We'll find because I'm sure there's another. I have another topic in mind, so you gonna come back.
I'll be back. I'll be back in 2025, your favorite life coach. But thank you all for your love, and Shameika, blackdoctors.org. Thank you all for having me. Until next time, look at me manifesting.
See, uh-huh. So everyone, for more information on setting goals, head over to blackdoctor.org. There's some articles over there and resources. And I will see you guys next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we're going to be talking about dental care because you got to set some goals for your dental care too. You got to stay on top of that. So we're going to talk about that and what you shouldn't be doing because of social media with your teeth. So, anyway, we'll talk about that next week. Have a soul filled rest of the week, and I'll see you soon. Bye, y'all.